Alrighty, Lumberjacks, welcome back to episode 3. We're still alive and we have not been demonetized or taken down yet, so things are going well. In this episode, I'm going to be cleaning up some more logs, and we're going to talk about some interesting stuff. Maybe non-interesting stuff. So I did have a really interesting question come up. Well, it's not interesting. I'm sure I've gone over it 100 million times in the past, but the question is... Here, let me park this truck, because I'm thinking and trying to talk at the same time, and I'm a man, and I can only do so much at so many times here. I'll probably park it about there. So the question that came up was, it was about my work life. So I'm not ever going to go into specific details about my job, career, any kind of stuff. I mean, I can tell you what I do and all that fun stuff, but I'm not going to go into specifics about anything to do with my job, my work, my coworkers, none of that stuff, because this is very public stuff, and all of that stuff is part of my private, personal work life. So I'm not going to get too detailed. So the gentleman who asked the question, I can't get into all of the things you asked about, but I can tell you about why I do what I do and why I do so much of what I do. So I have an incredibly busy work life, work schedule, work everything. I do a lot of different jobs, and I work a lot of hours. A lot of people are always like, well, why are you doing that? You must be just a workaholic, what are you escaping to do all this work? So, for example, right now I actually have it pretty fine-tuned. So right now I work... So FDR Logging I don't really count as a job. I mean, it kind of is a job, but it's not really a job, because I actually enjoy it, and I don't take this as a shift. If I want to stop doing FDR Logging stuff for 2 weeks, I just do that because I want to take a break. So that's not a job. If it was a job, I would have to do it whether I liked it or not. That's because I have to, do it. That's a job to me. And FDR Logging is not a job to me because I do it because I want to do it, and if I want to stop at any point in time, I can make that decision right now, and it won't have any effect on my life. If I quit FDR Logging tomorrow, I can still go about my life just fine. Unfortunately, jobs don't work like that. We have to work our jobs, because if we stop working our jobs, then we can't pay rent, we can't buy food, we go into poverty. So although I put FDR Logging, the business itself, on the list of jobs because it's part of a time-consuming bit of my life, I don't really consider it a job. So just for forewarning. So right now I have multiple jobs. So I work at a transfer station, which is basically the garbage dump for people that aren't well versed in it. And basically the transfer station is the place people bring all of their garbage, which we filter out into different sections so that it goes to the landfill or it goes into recycling programs, that kind of stuff. At that job, my title is a site attendant. So the majority of my job, I'm operating a skid steer. Pretty much 80 to 90% of that job is me operating heavy equipment, running a skid steer, loading trucks, trailers full of garbage, moving wood piles, moving brush piles, doing that kind of stuff. In general, just material handling with a machine. So that's my one job, and basically that job I work 1 week on, 1 week off with another cross shift, and that because of the nature of the shifts, it allows me to have other positions on my off week. So we do the 1 week on, and then the 1 week off, I have other jobs that I fill. So other jobs that I have, I am a custodian, a janitor. I got a really good gig cleaning for our school district here, and it makes really good money. It's actually almost the same rate as I make running heavy equipment, which is kind of sad. But so I make almost as much as a janitor as I do running heavy equipment. So I'm not sure who's in the right or who's in the wrong on that one, but it feels wrong to me that those are very similar in wage. But you know what? I'm not complaining. I'm happy with both of the wages. It works out good. So the janitorial position is just a part-time position. I do that at night. So it's 3 hours. It's really easy, just a simple fill in the evening shift. So I usually do those in unison with my a shift at the transfer station. So I will work from, let's say, 8 a.m. in the morning at the transfer station, and I go straight from the transfer station directly over to the cleaning job, and I do that till 9:30. So generally during the week, I am working from 8 o'clock in the morning till almost 9:30 at night, which sounds like a crazy long shift, but it's actually a really well balanced shift for me. And the work is not crazy hard. It's very well balanced for me. So those days on that week are very busy, which is a lot of the reason why I can't do my logging crew stuff all the time, and I can't do my modding stuff all the time as much as I'd like. Sometimes I'm able to slip in a couple hours of modding in the evenings after my janitor job stuff is completed. And then the other job that I've just taken on is I'm back at the mill again. So I used to work at the mill here in town doing weighmastering, which is when you're weighing in the trucks and checking the logs and stuff. So I do a combination of weighmastering, where you're actually sitting in the booth and checking in the trucks and stuff that are coming on to the scale site. And I also work outside occasionally, casually, I guess you'd say, doing piece scaling. And piece scaling is where you're actually physically inspecting the logs and checking them for quality. Basically what the processor operator does in the bush, we check the processor operator's work to make sure he's doing an efficient job of processing the wood to the mill's standards of quality, as they call it. So I do that as well. I've done that for a lot of years. It's a family-run thing. My wife is actually kind of the head person that's taking over into it now. So we're heading down that road to do that kind of stuff. And then I also work for another local contractor, as you guys have seen in videos. I was doing loading, basically what I'm doing in this video right now, unloading trucks for the pellet plant, which is a bunch of pulpwood. I was doing a little bit of that and running wheel loader, but I haven't done shifts there in a long time just because I've been so busy with my other work. So between all of the jobs, it is a lot of work all of the time, all over the place, and I do lots of casual work, lots of fill-in stuff. I also occasionally go do other jobs for people, helping with heavy equipment, running skid steers, running loaders, that kind of stuff. And it's mostly just small kind of jobs, but the way I look at it is I have a very wild set of skills in my tool bag, and I like to keep the tool bag tools very sharp. So I like to stay in those fields so that I'm up to date on them. Job security wise, you never know. I think all the jobs I have right now are pretty secure, so I'll probably stick with those for the majority of the rest of my time unless something changes or a better position comes up. But all of these jobs, like I said, are very secure jobs, and they are very well balanced with my schedule. So with all those jobs on top of trying to mod in between, doesn't give me a lot of free time for a lot of things. So as much as a lot of people say, oh, why don't you just do this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you just do this? And it's like, well, I would do that, but don't have a lot of time. The fact that I even have time to record this series that you guys are listening to right now is mind-boggling. I'm fitting it in between all of the other stuff that's going on. So I try to record a few of these episodes, every other few days if I can. But sometimes I'm probably going to go for weeks where I'm not going to have a chance to record an episode just because that's the way it goes sometimes. So, yes, a lot of work. I had a lot of people asking me about what I do and the different positions and da-da-da-da. So that's about as much detail as I can really go into them as far as like who they are and what they are and all that fun stuff. And I don't generally talk about my work in these types of videos just because my work, some of it is private and some of it has confidential information and all that kind of stuff. And again, we're talking on a very public place that anybody, including my bosses, which they are all welcome to come watch these videos. I highly doubt any of them would ever even bother to look at them. But if they decided to come look at these videos and watch them, I would want to make sure everything that's being said is appropriate. And actually, all my bosses are pretty awesome, so I don't think there's anything I would have inappropriate to say about them anyway. Nothing I wouldn't say to their faces if there was one that wasn't good. But yeah, so like I said, that's my job career life. I have a lot of different stuff on the go, and like I said, a lot of people ask, it's like, well, what are you're just a workaholic, you're crazy, da, 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 da. And honestly, I feel it's a really good balance. I have a really nice income from doing all these positions, and it allows me to save and afford the things in my life that I really want. And as lots of you know from previous videos, or anybody who's been watching for a long time, I've talked about Dave Ramsey, I've talked about debt, I've talked about all of that stuff, and I used to be, well, my wife and I both, we used to be in extremely bad debt, like really bad, because we were stupid and we racked up our credit cards and we put everything to the side, and we had student loans and we had lines of credit and just all this stupid stuff. And we thought, oh, well, we'll just never pay it off. We'll just keep paying the minimum payments forever. And I think I've told this story a few times, but when COVID hit, both of us were potentially looking at losing our positions in our companies that we were working just due to the downturn of job loss. And we were both scared out of our skulls because we're like, well, we have these huge truck payments and we have all this credit card debt and we have all this line of credit debt. And, you know, like if we lose our jobs, we will have to go bankrupt or something. And it was really scary. And we didn't know what the hell was going to happen. So at the time, I had a very, 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 very nice lifted pickup that I loved severely, that had another probably 5 or 6 years of payments at like $800-900 a month on it. So me being egotistical at the time and wanting to have my pretty truck, I was like, never going to happen. I'm never getting rid of this. I'll just have to take on extra work, blah, 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 blah. But there was no work. There was nothing happening. It was super slow, and there wasn't a lot of jobs, and there wasn't a lot of activity happening because, well, that was COVID, right? So I finally bit the bullet, and I actually sold my pickup. And I said, screw it, I guess we'll go down to one vehicle. My wife and I, she had her truck, and I just decided, well, I'll just get rid of mine. Saved us $800 a month, which was, or it was probably more than that because I wasn't paying insurance neither. So it's probably like $1,100 a month all said and done after everything. And we got rid of that truck, which was very sad and broke my sad little heart because I loved that truck so much. And I put a lot of money and work into it. And I definitely didn't get that money back, but that's just part of the stupid tax, as Dave Ramsey calls it. Stupid tax. That's what you got to pay when you make a bad decision. You put money where you shouldn't, and you leave yourself shortchanged. So I paid the stupid tax on that truck and many other trucks before it, and I didn't own a vehicle for 2 years after COVID, or during that COVID process. I walked to work. It really sucked. But I walked to work in winter. I walked to work in summer. My wife also gave me rides in her pickup when it was like longer distance jobs and stuff. I felt like an absolute tool not having a vehicle. It was like taking away your manhood, because that's how I had it, man. We all have that. Our vehicle is our identity in some of the worlds that we live in, and it really was. It felt like I just like lost a part of my daily life, you know. Not being able to go hop in my truck and go drive to wherever I needed to go was really crappy. I hated that. It was a terrible feeling, and that feeling sits at the back of my soul forever, because I use that feeling to make my every decision. If I feel I'm making a bad decision financially, I just remember that and what I went through, and it reminds me of what I never want to go through again. So fast forward down the road, after 2 years, my stepdad ended up selling me his old SUV, this Lexus vehicle that he had. And it wasn't like super great. It was an old, like from the year 2000. So it was like, you know, older than sin, but it worked and it was fine. I put like $500 into it, and it lasted me up until about 4 months ago, which was perfect. So I'd saved money the whole time, taken on tons of jobs because I wanted to pay off all that debt. So we paid off all of our debt, taking on extra jobs, which are a lot of the extra jobs I have now. Once the debt was paid, I was just like, oh man, well, I'm making all this money right now. Why don't I just keep going and keep making all this money and saving? So I stuck in the jobs, as brutal as they were, working 14 to 16 hours a day. I was very, very tired of all of it by the end. But I was saving lots of money, and all the debt was paid, and it's just that feeling of just being free from that debt was huge for me. And we escaped the debt cycle. And like I said, it was about a month ago now, from when you're watching this video, that I purchased a pickup. I bought one in cash, and I bought it outright, and I have no payments on it. It's not brand new. It's a 2014, so it's nothing like new and fancy, but it's a new to me vehicle. It's a 2014 Chevy Silverado. I really do like Chevys. I've always been a Chevy fan, and I saved up the money. I allotted it and planned it. I got all the stuff I wanted to do to it. I'm basically transforming it into the big lifted truck that I love so much, that I wanted back, and it's kind of a reward to myself for the punishment, financial punishment I put myself through to get out of the debt. And very excited. Actually, coming up here in a month, it's finally getting the lift done to it, and I got the bumper already on there and all the really stuff. Maybe I'll post a video or a picture of it in one of these episodes so you guys can see it. Not like anybody really totally cares about that, but the whole point of it is you have to go through that little bit of a sacrificial period in order to get clear and understand kind of the mistakes you were making, right? And I feel like I went through that, and it sucked, but but it worked. So fast forward to the question. We really went off on a tangent there, but fast forward to the question people are asking: why do you do all this work? Why are you working all these jobs? Why do you have all these jobs? This is crazy. You're a workaholic. Are you trying to escape something? What's your problem? Blah 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 blah. So the reason I continue to work all these jobs, one, they're really not terrible jobs. I do like them. They're not terrible jobs at all. I've done much worse jobs than the jobs I have now. The bosses are great. The work is not too bad. I mean, it can always be better, but I mean, it's not too bad at all. And the schedule, although it's busy, is not like life taking. I can still do stuff. I can mod. I can record these videos. My wife and I have time to go do dinner occasionally. We can, I can go kayaking. I can go do stuff, right? I don't have as much time as, say, somebody who just worked a regular 8-hour job, but I have enough time that I can still accomplish the things that I want to do in my personal life, and I can still get ahead financially. And I think my body is still living in the memory of the debt that I once had, and it never wants that again, and it's scared that it could go back there. And I'm not afraid to admit that I don't like that feeling. I don't think I'd ever in a million years get into debt again. I'm pretty sure that part of my life is for surely over. But the way I see it is, why not try to make as much money as I can at the age that I am, and I'm still able to do this? Because I have lots of friends and coworkers in their older age that say, like, oh, dude, like, I guarantee you don't want to be doing what you're doing right now when you hit, the age 50 or whatever. You're not going to be able to keep up, right? And that is a constant memory for me to look at and go like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Everything's working out great right now. So why don't I just take advantage of this time that I have? And actually, we'll just leave that there. Maybe we'll pull another truck for those longs. But yeah, why not take advantage of this now? While you still have the energy to do so, because I don't want to work like this when I'm getting near retirement age. So it may look crazy to a lot of my friends and a lot of my family, and maybe even some of you guys that watch and listen to all the 100 million jobs that I work and do. But for me, it's afforded me now the lifestyle that I want, and I still have the time to do the things that I want to do, and that's a big one for me. And I don't have that fear, that financial fear that I used to feel. And I'm pretty sure, like I said, that feeling is still there for me. Like, that fear of potential debt is still there. Like, it's looming over me, even though I know it's probably very unrealistic, and it's just my body reacting to, like, the trauma of the debt that we had. But yeah, you know what? I'm going to take advantage of that fear and use it to push me to do these jobs and complete these tasks and make more money and save it. And then maybe by the time I'm retired, if I don't, pass away before the chance to retire, I'll be set up really well, and I won't be in a bad situation when I'm ready to retire, or at least comfortable. That's all I can ask for, is be in a comfortable situation. So, that being said, people talking about the jobs, it also kind of comes down to the question of everyone asking some financial. I've had lots of financial questions about FDR logging, right? And people wanting to know, why don't you create your own game? I've answered that one before. Why don't you create your own game? You make so much money doing this. Why don't you hire a team of people to do this and this and this? Okay, well, you guys don't know it. I'm sure I've said it a million times, but there is not a huge amount of financial stuff that happens with this world of YouTube. Between YouTube and Patreon, 90% of the donations and everything that comes to it is going back into what I'm calling my team, which is the people that build the models and the people that do the structural builds of all the machines, right? There's not a lot of money left over after all is said and done. I mean, I wish, and I'm not lying to you guys, if I had more money, I would be so happy I would be able to do different things. My dream would be, if we ever made enough money, I could just quit all my jobs and do this full time, but I would need to have about 10 or 15 of these FDR logging channels making money before I could even comprehend stopping, because there's not a huge amount of money in this stuff. Most of the stuff that we've gotten is either from donations or from companies actually providing models, like the companies I'm working with directly. But anytime we do have to get a model built, I mean, frick, it's anywhere from, I think the cheapest one I've gotten, an actual machine build, was probably $150. That was the cheapest one. And then the most expensive one I ever did was, I think, 570 something or somewhere around there to get a model built. It is not cheap at all getting the models put together. That is a very, very expensive part of this world, is getting all that set up. It's super unfortunate, but now I feel we have a lot of the models in place for the next games when they come out. So hopefully we can start allocating that money a little bit more to... What I want to do is allocate more money to giving kind of back to the community. I mean, we are with the models and stuff because you guys get to play with them, but I want to do cool stuff. I wish we made bigger piles of money, because we could do more giveaways. I could do joystick giveaways. I could do clothing, FDR logging clothing giveaways. And I'm going to try to do a bunch of that here soon coming up. Maybe around Christmas time or something. Because, man, it's been a rough year financially for getting everything in place. And to be honest, YouTube has taken quite the dive in terms of algorithm and stuff. But I've also... Well, maybe I won't get into the YouTube stuff on this episode. Maybe we'll save that for another episode. But I'll make a note to talk future episodes about FDR logging, the shorts versus long format videos, and the expenses and all that fun stuff. But in short, basically we're not making... I'd say we're making about 30 to 35% less off of places like YouTube since, I want to say, February of 2024, so this year. And there's definitely some reasons behind that, I think, but we're going to try to change some stuff up and see if we can improve it. That's kind of the kicker back to Jordan with all his jobs. I don't rely on YouTube for anything, personally. None of the money from YouTube or from Patreon, any of that comes back to me personally, because it doesn't do anything for me. It doesn't help me, because if there is any money, it's at the end of a month, the most I've ever had extra was about $150, and I put it to upgrade our website. So we had our new business email, and then I got the sync storage, which was the new upgrade, and I added all that to it. But last year, like, I didn't make extra. I didn't have extra. So I had to just pay that out of my own pocket, which was no big deal. I don't mind doing it. It's an extra $500-600 a year isn't going to kill me if I have to put it towards FDR logging. But everybody thinking that FDR logging is self-sustained just by donations and YouTube, well, it's not. A lot of the money that goes into this comes out of my pocket. And like I said, I'm happy with that. But all the donations we do get, I try to utilize them in the best way possible. So if it's something stupid and frivolous, like monthly server costs, or the website hosting costs, that kind of stupid stuff, I just pay that myself. I add it as a bill to my own personal life, and I just charge it out with my own money. But if I get something cool, like an upcoming model, or like we want to do a giveaway, or we want to get a whole bunch of maybe FDR logging clothing or something really cool, something that's like for the community, that's generally what I make sure I put the donations toward when I do get them, because I like it going to something that's not just something boring. That way it's more exciting for you guys too, because it's like, oh sweet, my donation actually went to something cool. Like, it went to build the new Tiger Cat, it went to build the new Caterpillar, the new Hitachi, the new whatever, right? As opposed to, oh, he just used it to pay his internet bill, or he used it to do this. Like that, no, it's just stupid. That's just a personal thing, I guess. But yeah, if I don't count FDR logging at all as income in my personal life, because it doesn't really give me income. That's why I work all these extra jobs. I have all this extra stuff, because some of that actually goes back into here too. So I like to have a good range of it. So hopefully, I don't know, that was a long rant of working in debt and all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure lots of you guys have heard that conversation. I've had it before on previous login rants and FDR logging show and all that kind of stuff. But hopefully anybody who has never heard that, now you know why I work so many jobs and why I do so much stuff. It's not because I'm crazy. Well, maybe a little crazy, but I do it because I like to have that money available if I need it, especially for things like this company. If I decide I see a model I want and I don't have enough money from the donations, I go, oh, well, I'll just pay for it. I've done that with lots of stuff. Done that with lots of things. But like I said, I do appreciate, and I mean, I know everybody, all the fans and stuff that follow us, know how much I appreciate every little donation. Like, it all goes into a common pot, and it all gets spent on really cool stuff. So without you guys contributing, and I mean, I've said this before, like, if all of a sudden everybody stops donating and YouTube doesn't make any money, and we're only making, $50 a month, enough to just barely sustain, I'm not going to stop. I'll pay my own money to keep models coming. Like, I'm going to do that, but it's going to be slower and there's going to be less. This year, I can't believe how many different models and new stuff that we've gotten just because the donations were good at the beginning there. And yeah, I just pulled it all together and bought a whole bunch of models, and every month we're getting something new and cool just because of people's help. But if you're broke, don't feel obligated to donate to FDR logging, right? We appreciate it, but like, this isn't keeping me alive. This isn't my job, and this isn't my only source of income. So if people stop donating because you need to, pay your rent or pay your mortgage or stay alive, like, do it. Go ahead. Absolutely stop donating. Like, don't charge yourself money. If you've even donated one time, that's a huge deal for me. We appreciate it. We all do. Everyone in the community involved in FDR logging, we appreciate every little drop that people have given, because that's your money that you've worked for. And as somebody who works a lot and knows exactly the value of money and what goes into getting it, yeah, I do appreciate it. Somebody might say, oh, it's only $5. And it's like, yeah, you know what? That $5 might have bought that guy something he wanted, though. And he chose to give it to us to use in this community, and we're going to use it for something cool. I've had people on my team that have, not people that are on my team anymore, people previously that were on my team that believed I should have been giving the donation money back to members of the team staff-wise. And I said, that's not what it's about. I said, if one day we suddenly had 20 million people donating $1 a day and we're making $20 million or something, sure, absolutely, we could look at budgeting and, if we have the community fulfilled with all of its majority of the needs that it has, then yeah, we could look at maybe giving it back to some of the people that do, give their time and help to it. But the majority of the money and all of the money, I would prefer going to something that can go back to the people in this community. That's what I always wanted from the money, and that's what I'm always going to do with the money. If I can't find a thing that needs to be done with the money, I mean, we're going to be in a really great state if we ever get there. But there's always models, there's always ideas, there's always giveaways, there's always clothing, there's things that we can do that's really cool, that we can give it back to the community. And I'm hoping now, like I said, going into even FS25, we have a lot of the models that the community's already purchased. So I'm hoping we can allocate some of the money per month into another, like a separate common pot that we use just for giveaways. And I think that's what we're going to do. We might start that as of December. That's my goal. I just need to get that all set up, and it's going to happen. So yeah, like I said, without getting too preachy about it, which I probably might have already done it, I really do appreciate people's money and value that they bring to this community. Even if it's a small amount that might seem like nothing to some, it might be a lot to those particular people. And me being somebody who came from not a lot of money, I definitely respect that. So I get it. Absolutely. I was gonna wing off this pile here before I go. So, but yeah, you guys, like I said, if you're running out of money and you're broke, don't donate to FDR Logging. Just wait. I'm not gonna be mad. No one's gonna know. No one's gonna care. It's just me and you having the discussion. Oh man, I could have cut all those tops and put them in there. Those are actually not bad. That's okay. They're over there now. But yeah, if FDR Logging, I said this a gazillion times, if FDR Logging dies tomorrow, everything will be just fine. I still have all of my jobs. This thing does not contribute financially to me. That's kind of the other thing. Okay, so we'll hit on that. So, working with companies. So I'm working with larger companies now, big forestry companies. You know, we have the LTEX, we have Badil, we have it's awesome. I love it. So this FDR Logging is a huge passion project for me. Huge passion project. Obviously, it's passion because there's no way in hell I would spend this amount of time doing this stuff if I didn't absolutely love it. There's no way. For the lack of financial reward for the time I put into it, there's no way anyone would be insane enough to do and spend the amount of time that I've spent on this without a reward of some type. So it's passion. That's why I do this. I love it. I love forestry. I love logging. I love all of it. And the fact that these big companies want to work with me and do stuff with me is the most rewarding part of this whole thing for me. One is you guys, obviously the community, being able to use this stuff and enjoy it and have fun. But the real true awesomeness for me is having these companies that I grew up around running their machines and I know who they are and their brands, working with me officially to bring their brands into the game. That is huge for me. As it basically has made the entire process worth it for me. And there's lots of stuff coming down the pipe, and there's other bigger companies that we're working with, and I'm very, 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 very excited about it. So again, passion. It's all about passion for me. That's what I love. I have people that have brought to me, they said, hey, Jordan, you're kind of dumb for these giant companies that make billions of dollars, a year, and you're not even charging them money for bringing their mods into the game or their equipment into the game as mods. And granted, some of these companies have donated money to the common pot that we've used for models. LTEC donated money. ProPack donated money. Some of the other ones are working to donate money if they can, just to help out the community. So it does happen, and it is happening. But as some people suggested, well, why don't you tell them, oh, I'll put your machine in, it'll cost you $25,000, $40,000. They can totally afford that as a company. Why don't you do that? And I don't know, man. I'm just not that kind of guy. I'm not a shark. I can't do it. One, I want these brands. I love these brands. I love them. I want them to want to be partnering with me. I want them to be part of this world, not for money, not for gain, not for anything, but it's like a little badge, right? You know, you're in the military and you get your little badge, your valor, your honor stamp, your little whatever, right? Your medals that you hang from your chest. Every single company that partners with FDR Logging, that's what I see. It's like wearing a medal of honor on your chest for getting that partnership, getting that relationship with that company when I'm nobody, and I've turned this into something that a company like that actually wants to look at. That's huge for me. So yeah, sure, I could go run to these companies and say, oh, hey, we'll do it, but it'll cost you 50 grand, because you guys make millions of dollars, you can afford it. And they could turn around and tell you to go pound sand because, why were we going to pay 50 grand to put it in a video game? That's just stupid, right? So they could do that. And then I've ruined that relationship as well. So if a company wants to donate money or donate models or donate stuff to me, I'm happy to put it in the game because I love this stuff. I love it. And that's why I do it. If they don't want to donate, that's fine too. Just having them say, hey, you can totally be the person to put our stuff in the game. I'm just going to do it. I don't care about the money. It's not what it's for. So anyway, like I said, bit of a rant there. Not controversial though, so they can't ban us. There was no controversy there. Ha, 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 suckers. Anyway, so that was a little deep dive into Jordan's life and why I do the things that I do and why I continue to mod like an insane person for thousands of hours and try to perfect things. All for you guys and all for my love for logging. All right, guys, we'll catch you guys in the next one. See ya.